Right now at 6, Fort Scott, Kansas residents are cleaning up after receiving more than a foot of rain over the weekend.
And while it's not raining now, more showers and storms on the way later. Most of our Tuesday, though, looking pretty good. We'll have a check of that forecast, get you out the door coming up.
Plus, a number of Oklahoma communities deal with the aftermath of dozens of tornadoes.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6 a.m. I'm Elise Noe.
And I'm Chris Warner. It is Tuesday here in the 4 states.
Yes.
We had a pretty decent Monday across the area.
It was beautiful out there. I know that it was, still wet out there, on the ground and everything, but hopefully we dry up. I know we won't because we've got thunderstorms.
We've got more storms on the way, and unfortunately, between yesterday and today, it's just not going to be enough time to dry up across the areas.
Still gorgeous, though.
Yeah, it will be. Most of our Tuesday is looking pretty darn good until we get to the evening hours. So let's take a look outside because we want to get you out the door, start your day off on the right foot, or at least have you prepared. And we're looking pretty good so far. This is our camera on the Cornell Complex, downtown Joplin. The sun is rising. A few clouds out there. Otherwise, an absolutely beautiful start to the day. Not a bad shot from the MoDOT camera. 32nd in range light in Joplin either. So we start to get some daylight out there. However, we still want to remind you, one, of the flood warnings that are active across the area. And then number two, we do have more showers and storms on the way. We do have a flood watch. Now, the warnings, of course, supersede a watch, so it's covered here. But this flood watch encompasses most of southeast Kansas and will run through noon tomorrow because more rain is on the way. Now, we've been talking for almost a year now about how much southeast Kansas needs rain. Unfortunately, it doesn't do you a lot of good when it's just dumped on you like what we've seen over the last couple of days, and we have more rain on the way, so we need to be prepared for that. Right now in Joplin, we're sitting at 60 degrees, 56 in Pittsburgh, and temperatures around the region. Yesterday morning we had that weak cold front that really cooled down things back in southeast Kansas. Not the case today. We're in the mid to upper 50s for most of us. 61 though, Joplin, we had 60s, Parsons and Neodesha earlier, and we've got some low 50s out there, but otherwise not a bad start to the day. Kids getting on the bus, not much to worry about. Sunny, 58, south breeze around 5 to 10 miles an hour. And again, maybe a cloud or two this afternoon, otherwise sunny, 81. South winds gusting to 30 though when they come home. And we are looking at highs today up into the low to mid 80s across the area. Sunny, breezy most of the day. By 6 o'clock in our far western counties though, those thunderstorms start to build in, and unfortunately they could be strong, potentially severe as we head into the evening hours. We're going to break down all the details on the next few days worth of showers and thunderstorms in that full forecast a little later. Elise?
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, people in communities across the 4 states are cleaning up from weekend flooding. Among the worst hit areas around Fort Scott, Kansas. According to city officials, most of the flooding is north of town and along Highway 54 east towards Uniontown. City and county emergency services and public works are overseeing the cleanup process. According to the city manager, the cleanup should take less than a week and all damaged roads will be repaired.
Basically over a creek or two, and which damaged them completely. We'll have to redo those. So those will take a couple days to a week to repair those once we get started on them, but we have to get to that point. But the overall cleanup won't take more than a week and we'll be back to normal business.
We'll hear from residents cleaning up on Fox 14. The Kansas Department of Health and Environment, or KDHE, has issued a stream advisory for part of the Verdigris River because of an oil well spill. The advisory is from 75 Highway east of Neodesha, Kansas, in Wilson County to the Oklahoma state line. The KDHE says people should not allow children, livestock, or pets to enter the stream. Well, the heavy rains are also causing issues in Ottawa County, Oklahoma. This is video of the Neosho River at Twin Bridges State Park. As you can see, debris and logs have accumulated in the river for about the length of 2 football fields, causing a jam. The city of Miami says it's not aware of any plans by ODOT or the GRDA to remove the debris or close the bridge at this time. For more information about area river levels, go to the weather page on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Saturday's storms dropped tornadoes throughout Oklahoma, including what forecasters say was at least an EF3 in the town of Sulphur. Downtown Sulphur was torn apart with winds reaching at least 140 miles an hour. One person there was killed. 2 more were killed in Holdenville, Oklahoma. 12 counties in Oklahoma are currently under a state of emergency. Well, the city of Fredonia, Kansas has some tips for property owners recovering from this weekend's storms. One is to clear gutters and drains so water can flow more freely away from your home. Also, seal your windows and doors to prevent water infiltration, and to inspect your sump pump to make sure it can handle excess water if needed. That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News. Well, Travis Kelce has signed a contract extension, and that makes him the highest paid in the NFL at his position. Plus, 4 law enforcement officers were shot and killed yesterday while serving a warrant to a convicted felon. And Chris Warner returns with another look at your Tuesday forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back, but first, here's a live look at the Sherwood Raider Farm.
Spring, don't pay.
Well, topping Nation Watch this morning, Kansas City Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce has signed a contract extension that makes his agency says makes him the highest paid in the NFL at his position. The 3-time Super Bowl winner announced the deal in a video posted by the team on social media. He called it an honor to be in Kansas City, and he said he can't wait to get after it these next 2 years. Kelce's 2-year extension is worth a reported $34.25 million. His yearly average of more than $17 million edges out Giants tight end Darren Waller's yearly paycheck. Well, Samsung Electronics reported strong first quarter earnings of more than $52 billion in sales. The company's operating profit in the first quarter spiked 933%, beating analysts' expectations. It's a big turnaround for Samsung after half a dozen consecutive quarters of profit decline. The company reported the surge in earnings is due to demand for high bandwidth memory chips, saying the chip prices have finally started to rebound post-pandemic, thanks to the popularity of artificial intelligence applications. Samsung announced it will continue to increase HBM chip supply this year. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration has announced new regulations in an effort to cut down on rising numbers of deaths and injuries on U.S. roads. The new rules will require improved automatic emergency braking systems on new cars sold in the United States by September of 2029. The new NHTSA regulations will require AEB systems that can help prevent collisions with other cars at speeds up to 62 miles an hour. It will require a vehicle to stop before hitting pedestrians from speeds as high as 55 miles an hour. The systems will also need to apply brakes at speeds up to 90 miles an hour, even if it can't entirely prevent a crash. According to the agency, the new rules will prevent nearly 400 deaths annually and up to 24,000 auto injuries. Well, tragedy in North Carolina. 4 law enforcement officers were shot and killed yesterday while serving a warrant to a convicted felon. 4 more officers were wounded. The suspect is in the standoff was also shot and killed by police. CBS News' Jared Hill has the latest from New York on how the horrific scene unfolded and the community's reaction.
Gunfire erupted in a neighborhood in Charlotte, North Carolina around 1:30 yesterday afternoon.
Shots fired at officer, possibly 1 down. Subjects, correction, 2 down. Subjects barricaded himself.
Authorities say the shootout started as members of a U.S. Marshals Fugitive Task Force were serving a warrant on a convicted felon they say was in possession of an illegal firearm. According to police, as officers approached, the suspect opened fire.
We heard something over a loudspeaker like, come out of the dogs coming, come out of the dogs coming, and then it was like a loud siren, and then you just heard gunfire left and right. Police say 8 officers were shot, 4 have died, 1 deputy U.S. Marshal, 2 officers with North Carolina Department of Adult Correction, and 1 Charlotte-Mecklenburg police officer.
And the most that I can ask of our community is that we honor and respect them.
Authorities say officers continued to face gunfire even after they shot and killed the suspect in the front yard. A woman and a 17-year-old were later found inside the house. They were taken to a police station for questioning.
The bravery, the heroism, everything that goes down with that defines what our profession is, our people demonstrated that.
A procession of law enforcement vehicles drove through Charlotte last night for the fallen. The FBI is assisting in the investigation. Jared Hill, CBS News.
The White House says President Biden called and spoke to North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper to offer condolences and assistance. In a statement, the president said the 4 fallen officers were heroes who made the ultimate sacrifice. And that's a look at some of today's top national stories. Here's Chris with a look at your forecast.
Now, we've got ourselves most of our Tuesday looking pretty fantastic until we get into the evening hours. Skywatch Storm Tracker is clear at the moment across the area. We do have some clouds here and there, but that's really about it. And that's how, again, most of our Tuesdays shaping up. Our camera 7th and range line, sun starting to rise, looking pretty decent out there. But again, as we head into the evening, about 6 o'clock or so in our western counties, we're going to see showers and thunderstorms roll in. Again, ahead of that, though, breezy. South winds gusting to 30, highs in the low 80s. We're going to break down your full forecast and those storm chances when the KOAM Morning News returns.
Sometimes you want to on the Wheel of Fortune.
Well, love was in the air for passengers on a Polish Airlines flight. Literally, romance took wing when an emotional pilot proposed to a flight attendant on board. Jeannie Moose reports.
This is your captain speaking to the woman he loves. Prepare for turbulence, the emotional kind.
W pokładzie tego samolotu jest bardzo ważna dla mnie osoba.
LOT Polish Airlines pilot Konrad Hans was referring to his flight attendant girlfriend Paula. A year and a half ago.
W pracy poznałem najcudowniejszą osobę, która totalnie odmieniła moje życie zupełnie.
Met her on a flight to Krakow, Poland. So on a similar flight to Krakow, the pilot with eyes brimming let fly the question.
Byłem największym spełnieniem moich marzeń. W związku z tym mam do ciebie prośbę, kochanie. Czy zgodziłabyś się zostać moją żoną?
It had all the trappings of a rom-com.
Will you marry me?
Yes, she will marry you! And yes, the flight attendant will marry the pilot. In the golden age of flying, flight attendants once parted the waters.
Should have been a pilot.
Powiedziała tak!
LOT Polish Airlines posted the video on Facebook. Commenters posted romantic gifs. Love is in the air. Although the plane was actually on the ground the entire proposal. But these two were walking on clouds with or without the airplane.
Come fly with me, let's fly away.
Jeannie Moose, CNN, New York.
Some exotic food.
Great to see the romance take flight. Well, now here's Chris with a quick look at your forecast.
Yeah, we've got a beautiful start to the day and pretty decent Tuesday ahead of more storm chances. We'll break it all down when we come back.
Your lives.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 6:20 now on this Tuesday morning. Quick look again at the flood warnings that we have across the area, and we have this new flood watch for most of southeastern Kansas that will run until noon tomorrow, as we're expecting more showers and thunderstorms over the next few days across the area. Right now in Joplin, skies are mostly clear, 60 degrees, southeast breeze at about 7 miles an hour out there. Temperatures around the region. No cold front to speak of this morning, so most of us warmer than where we were yesterday. Mid-upper 50s across the area, and we've got some low 50s a little further to the south. But all in all, not a bad start to the morning. But Again, we have that strong to severe thunderstorm threat as we head into the evening and overnight hours. We do have a low to elevated tornado risk across portions of southeastern Kansas, and then we have a more widespread, broader area rather, of that low to elevated hail risk and a low to elevated wind risk, with just a sliver of our area in a significant hail risk for very large hail out there. Wind and hail are the primary concerns with the storms this evening, but an isolated tornado cannot be ruled out. So let's break down what's going to happen. Today, the majority of our day, we are sunny. A few clouds here and there. It's going to be breezy. Winds out of the south gusting upwards of 30, and it's going to be warm, temperatures into the 80s. It won't be until about 6 o'clock we'll start to see showers and thunderstorms rolling into parts of southeastern Kansas. Now, there's a greater severe threat just off to our north and west, and this is going to be those remnant thunderstorms coming out of there. So they're going to be scattered, but the ones that we see could be strong, possibly severe. Here they are at 9 o'clock, again, mainly across southeastern Kansas, and we'll start to see them shift into northeastern Oklahoma by about midnight. A few showers lingering as we go into the early morning hours Wednesday, and then that'll start to clear out, and we'll be mostly cloudy for the majority of our Wednesday. It will be warm again as we go back into the 80s, and then by Wednesday evening, another round of strong, possibly severe thunderstorms, mostly confined into southeastern Kansas, where you absolutely do not need any more severe weather. That's going to continue into the evening, then it'll pause, and then our Thursday, we're going to be mostly cloudy, and we'll see scattered showers and thunderstorms out there, with another potential, especially into the evening, for some strong to low grade severe thunderstorms across the area as we go late evening into the very early morning hours on our Friday. So here's a look at that 3-day outlook. Again, today's low to elevated severe threat for this evening. Low to elevated tomorrow as well, but you can see it's not as broad of an area, but still southeastern Kansas, where you do not need any more heavy rain and you do not need any more severe weather, and that's where this risk is. And then Thursday, most of the region, a low end risk for some strong to low grade severe thunderstorms throughout the day. So a lot to contend with over the next few days. Unfortunately, severe weather season is still just getting underway. May 1st is tomorrow, and that means we've still got a ways to go with severe weather season. Sunny skies as we get the morning started, about 75 by 11 o'clock this morning. Again, highs today, low to mid 80s, low 80s again tomorrow. And it'll be in the mid 70s Thursday, because again, we're going to spend most of the day cloudy with scattered showers and thunderstorms. Got a break from the activity on Friday, sunny skies and about normal 70, and that's ahead of more shower and thunderstorm chances heading into the weekend and the start of next week. And then by midweek next week, we're warming up back into the low 80s. That's a check of your forecast. Now we're going to send it over to Elise with Health Watch.
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, a new study finds multi-drug resistant superbugs hiding on floors, ceilings, door handles, and other hospital surfaces in the UK. Researchers collected 480 samples from 3 general hospitals. They found the highest concentration of superbugs lurking in gender-neutral toilets due to flushing and greater overall use. Well, doctors at Oregon Health and Science University have identified the first known case of brain disease from fentanyl inhalation. The 47-year-old father who took the drug for the first time while on a business trip last February was hospitalized with brain swelling after losing consciousness. He slowly regained speech and function after 26 days, but has no memory of the episode to this day. And an observational study in the journal BMJ Evidence-Based Medicine suggests a healthy lifestyle may offset genetics. Researchers tracked nearly 360,000 adults for nearly 13 years up until 2021. They found even those genetically predisposed to a shorter lifespan could live almost 6 years longer by doing things like eating right and exercising regularly by middle age. The CDC says Black women are 3 times more likely to die from a pregnancy-related cause compared to white women, and most of those deaths are preventable. Mandy Gaither has more on the leading causes of maternal mortality and how women can reduce their risk.
It's an alarming rise. The maternal death rate in the U.S. keeps inching upward. The latest CDC data from 2021 shows more than 1,200 women died of maternal causes, up from 754 deaths in 2019.
And the situation is even worse for Black mothers because their maternal mortality rate is more than twice that of white patients or Hispanic patients.
The leading cause of pregnancy-related deaths is mental health conditions, followed by excessive bleeding, heart conditions, infections, blood clots, and high blood pressure. Lack of access to good health care is also a key factor in this crisis, says Dr. Tochi Iroku Maliz with the American Academy of Family Physicians.
You have hospital closures, so we call them some OB deserts, where hospitals have shut down their labor and delivery wards, and so they don't have the nursing staff, they don't have the physicians and the other techs available to take care of these patients.
The CDC says more than 80% of pregnancy-related deaths are preventable. Pregnant people and their families are urged to talk to a doctor if something is off or concerning. Recognize urgent maternal warning signs, including severe headache, extreme swelling of the hands or face, trouble breathing, or heavy vaginal bleeding, and seek immediate care if they're experiencing any of these symptoms. Women should also share their pregnancy history during each visit with their doctor. More than half of maternal deaths happen up to a year after birth.
Maternal health care doesn't stop after the patient gives birth.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
The CDC says there are several factors which may lead to the disparities in Black maternal mortality rates, including barriers to quality health care, underlying chronic conditions, as well as structural racism and implicit bias. And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back.
In the heart of Grove, Oklahoma.
Right now at 6:30, some members of the Carthage City Council renew their efforts to oust the mayor and city administrator.
And we've got ourselves a pretty decent start to our Tuesday. More rain on the way, but we'll take a look at that forecast to get you out the door coming up.
Plus, parents and students in Joplin schools are seeing changes to their bus routes after receiving a letter from the school's transportation department.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's just coming up on 6:30. I'm Elise Noe.
And I'm Chris Warner. It's a Tuesday here in the 4 states. We had a gorgeous Monday.
Gorgeous Monday. We deserved it after this weekend. We really
this
did.
This weekend, 11 tornado reports in southeast Kansas in a 2-day back-to-back tornado events out there. And I think I remember the number correctly, 150 some odd tornado reports across the Midwest through the weekend.
Quite the outbreak.
Certainly a rough situation. We did need a break. We got a good one. Yes. Most of our Tuesday is going to be another pretty decent day. More showers and storms. Some of those could be strong to severe are on the way. We're going to start by getting you out the door first. Let's start with the MoDOT camera, 32nd and Range Line in Joplin, looking back to the north along Range Line, looking pretty good so far this morning. You can see some clouds off in the distance. Otherwise, mostly clear skies out there. And we do have flood warnings. Of course, those continue across the portions of the area. So just a reminder of where they are. And of course, the number one thing to remember with flood warnings and with the heavy rain we've seen and the rain that's on the way, turn around, don't drown. It's not worth it. Take a different route if you have to. With remote work, again, if you can work remotely, if maybe there's no way to get to your office, don't try and push your way through. Just be safe. And we also have a new flood watch that's going into effect for most of southeast Kansas, and that will run until noon tomorrow. And we're going to talk more about the incoming showers and storms with the full forecast a little later. But again, we want to get you out the door so you can at least get through the first half of our day. 60 in Joplin, 56 in Pittsburgh, and again, mostly clear skies, both locations. We got pretty decent temperatures. We have some low 50s off to the south. Otherwise, the majority of us mid-upper 50s out there with a southerly breeze. Those south winds will increase by this afternoon as well. Kids getting on the bus, 58 sunny, south breeze about 5 to 10. By this afternoon, we'll see some gusts upwards of 30, south breeze 10 to 20. Sunny skies, 81, and again, maybe a cloud or two here or there. We're going to be sunny most of our day, warm, breezy, highs in the low 80s. And then by about 6 o'clock this evening in our far western counties, another round of showers and thunderstorms starts to roll in. And again, some of those could be strong, possibly severe. As I mentioned, we're going to go over all the details in the full forecast, and that's coming up here just a little later. Elise?
All right, we'll see you soon. The city of Carthage last night hosted a special meeting to discuss next steps in efforts to remove the city administrator and impeach the mayor. The council moved forward with a request for a proposal for legal guidance on their next moves. The request could bring an independent law firm or mean hiring a new city attorney after the previous Carthage city attorney resigned earlier this month.
We're going to put an RFP out, and whether it's a firm or an individual, will look at the applicants and interview from there.
The council's next scheduled meeting is Tuesday, May 14th. However, they discussed holding another special meeting before then. Well, MoDOT wants to alert some drivers in Joplin about road work that may impact them. Starting today, crews will close Connecticut Avenue to traffic just south of 38th Street. This daytime closure from 9 a.m. until dusk is to install stormwater pipes under Connecticut Avenue. Work is expected to continue daily through the end of the week, but may change due to weather or other unforeseen circumstances. Parents and students in Joplin are seeing changes to their bus routes. Some parents recently received a letter from the Joplin Schools Transportation Department and informed them that while working to improve transportation efficiency, the district discovered their students' bus stop was in a no bus zone. This means some parents have to find alternate transportation for the last month of the school year.
I'm just a single father, and I also work out of Neosho. So it makes it a little bit harder. We recently just moved up here 3 years ago. There's not a lot of family help around here for myself, and I'm sure it's the same thing for other parents around the community.
The Joplin Schools Transportation Department says throughout the year they go through their system and find students who should be walking rather than riding the bus. They say it just so happens this letter came out with only a month left of school. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Paramount Global CEO Bob Bakish is stepping down, and he will be replaced with a panel of 3 executives. And we're tracking thunderstorms for tonight. We'll have what to expect with Chris Warner in the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back, but first, here's a live look at the Sherwood Raider Farm. In Consumer Watch this morning, it's been 1 month since the collapse of the Francis Scott Key Bridge in Baltimore. The city has come together to help those who've been impacted. As Janae Reese reports, this includes many longshoremen at the Port of Baltimore who are out of work until the bridge is repaired.
You never think it's going to happen to you.
For Michael Heckner and his son Luke, this meal means a lot more.
Things that I were planning, summer vacations, everything's being put on hold.
Heckner is one of thousands of longshoremen whose jobs have been put on hold due to the collapse of the Key Bridge.
You know, it's been a struggle. I personally have only received 2 unemployment payments, and that's it. Everything's been on hold, and it's been a nightmare.
This is the first time I've ever experienced this unemployment and dealing with hardship.
Small Food Service and their suppliers are stepping in to help. They invited hundreds of other Baltimore longshoremen affected by the tragedy for lunch and to pick up free groceries to feed their families.
When something like this hits so close to home, we try to help out in any way we can.
And they're not alone. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is also working to help. Friday, the church teamed up with other organizations to donate $10,000 worth of supplies.
To be able to help in any way that we can, to kind of lessen the burden and ease the load.
And we sought out different resources and have been doing a number of things.
Supplies included diapers and baby formula for families with young children.
Everyone donating their time to put this together for us is huge.
I really want to say to the longshoreman family, is that we have to hold on until this economy gets better.
Many of the longshoremen say that they're grateful for the community support. Paramount Global CEO Bob Bakish is stepping down. He will be replaced with a panel of 3 executives who will form an office of the CEO. Bakish's resignation comes as the company is exploring a merger or deals with multiple potential partners. The Federal Trade Commission says a company that allegedly sold fraudulent N95 masks amid the COVID pandemic must refund $1.1 million to customers across the U.S. Regulators say Razor and its affiliates marketed the Zephyr mask as an N95 without submitting it to federal agencies for testing or certification. The FTC has also ordered the video game accessory company to pay a $100,000 fine. Razor could not be reached for comment. And meet one of Oregon's winners of last month's big $1.3 billion Powerball jackpot. 46-year-old Charlie Sapan is an immigrant from Laos who has been battling cancer for 8 years. He said he's grateful for the lottery and can now hire a good doctor for himself. Sapan will split the $422 million lump sum cash payment with his wife and a friend who helped buy the batch of tickets that contained the winning numbers. Memorial Day, the unofficial start of summer, is just around the corner, and it's not too late to book a summer trip and still save some money. Jen Sullivan has tips on ways to cut costs in today's Consumer Watch.
Does summer have you dreaming of white beaches or perhaps an exotic getaway? There's still time to book a trip and save.
This is going to be another busy summer of travel.
Melanie Fish is a travel expert with Expedia. When it comes to domestic travel, she recommends these tips. Book your trip 21 to 60 days out. Doing that can save you about 15% on average. Travel on a Tuesday. You'll find better deals. And 4th of July week is the busiest and most expensive time to travel. When it comes to international trips, Fish recommends booking 30 to 60 days out. Traveling on a Monday can help you save as well. And traveling in August instead of June can save you about $250. If you're heading to Italy, be aware of a new fee to enter Venice. Day trippers will have to pay $5.45 per person. And by the way, Fish says you can maximize your trip to Italy and other European destinations by taking lots of day trips.
Europe has a lot of great train options, so you can stay in one place and take short trips to other places.
If you're looking for a tropical destination, you can score some good deals this summer.
Summer is actually considered off-season, so you actually can travel there for better value than in, say, January.
Fish says to be aware of the start of hurricane season when booking, and watch out for hidden resort fees that can rack up a bigger bill at the end of your vacation. For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
And that's it for Consumer Watch. Here's Chris with another look at your forecast.
Yeah, we're taking a look first at the flood warnings across the area, just as a reminder, and of course, turn around, don't drown. You don't want to go into any of these flooded areas. On top of that, we have a new flood watch, and that will go through noon tomorrow across parts of southeast Kansas, as we're expecting more showers and storms later this evening. Right now in Joplin, it is 60, 55 in Pittsburgh, mostly clear skies, just a handful of clouds out there. We had that weak cold front yesterday morning. It kept southeast Kansas cool, but not doing that today. We've got southerly winds, most of us mid-upper 50s. As you get a little further south, we're getting a little mix of some low 50s here and there. So otherwise, not a bad start to the day. Kids getting on the bus this morning. We're looking at sunny skies, about 58, south breeze around 5 to 10 miles an hour. When that bus brings them home, the south winds are going to pick up 10 to 20, gusts to 30. Still sunny skies, maybe a cloud or two. Take a look at that temperature though, 81 degrees. Again, we've got those incoming shower and thunderstorm chances this evening. We're going to break down the next few days of rain chances here in just a moment. It's also about time to celebrate birthdays and anniversaries. Those are coming up after the break. But first, we're going to see what's happening on CBS Mornings.
Hello to you, I'm Gail King. Coming right up on CBS Mornings, Broadway stars Jesse Tyler Ferguson and Renee Elise Goldsberry will be live in our studio to help us announce some of this year's Tony nominations. Plus, former NFL linebacker Emmanuel Acho and actor Noah Tishby will discuss teaming up for their new book about uncomfortable conversations. That's coming right up, right here on CBS Mornings.
Four-state hero.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Fort Scott, Kansas, it was hit the hardest with flooding from the weekend storms. According to city officials, most of the flooding is north of town and along Highway 54 east toward Uniontown. Most of the cleanup around town should take less than a week. Damaged roads will be repaired. The Kansas Department of Health and Environment has issued a stream advisory for part of the Verdigris River from 75 Highway east of Neodesha, Kansas. in Wilson County to the Oklahoma state line. The advisory is because of an oil well spill. The KDHE says people should not allow children, livestock, or pets to enter the stream. The Joplin School District is changing its school bus routes. While trying to improve the district's transportation efficiency, the district discovered their students' bus stop was in a no-bus zone. This means some parents will have to find alternate transportation for the last month of the school year. And that's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
And as you head out the door this morning, not too bad out there. Warm and breezy today. Sunny, a few clouds here and there, possibly. South winds gusting to 30, highs in the low to mid 80s. Then by about 6 o'clock this evening in our western counties is where it starts. More showers and thunderstorms spreading across the area. And again, some of these could be strong to possibly severe. So keep an eye on that for you. We'll fall back into the low 60s for us. As we head into tomorrow, we'll have a few lingering showers in the morning. Mostly cloudy through the day, low 80s, and then more strong, possibly severe thunderstorms by the evening, mainly in southeastern Kansas. And then we'll have scattered thunderstorms throughout the day on Thursday into the mid 70s. Another round of strong, possibly low-grade severe storms on Thursday. We'll have a pause on Friday ahead of more shower and thunderstorm chances heading into the weekend and the first part of next week. So a lot more rain on the way.
Yes.
Unfortunately, more severe weather potentially on the way as well.
Alrighty, thanks, Chris. Well, coming up today at noon, we're making home-style tuna croquettes in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
And your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. This morning, Katie Logan from the Carthage Humane Society joins us in the studio to talk about their Empty the Shelters event.
And Charlene Patton also joining us in the studio with another amazing healthy recipe. That's going to wrap it up for us for now, though. We'll be back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.
And we'll see you today at noon.